Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal, and welcome back to another What Sold video. These are sales on Poshmark and eBay from December 16th through December 31st of 2024, and I also have something to announce in this video as well. So first, let's get through the announcement. If you are recently subscribed to my channel, you may not know my history of how my 2024 went. My year started with my mom having a medical emergency, which I had to go down to Pennsylvania to help take care of her for several months. Her medical emergency turned into a medical diagnosis, and unfortunately, she did pass in May of 2024. And along the way, I have been going on a grief journey. This is my first real grieving experience, and man, is it a trip. It's a roller coaster. You never know what's going to come up when it does, and there are things that just trigger you and you have no idea. So if you've been through this, I'm so sorry, because it's not something that I ever want anyone to experience. But if you've been through it, you understand what I mean. Because of that, my perspective in life has kind of changed. My motivation of things also isn't where it used to be. Reselling in 2024, I did try to continue. I mean, I have been reselling the whole year, but there were some times where I had to shut down my Poshmark Closet for a whole month or turn my eBay store off. So unfortunately, my business did suffer because of that. Also, I'm not making the same type of content that I have been with the unboxings and the how-tos and the tips and tricks. I committed to myself and to my subscribers that I would put out what sold videos every 2 weeks, but I'm just not putting up the other type of videos that I once used to do. And unfortunately, the what sold videos are just getting more and more sad because I'm not making as many sales. Actually, I did my numbers on January 1st of 2025 for 2024, and I made $2,000 less than the year before. And it just seems like after 2020, my numbers just significantly dropped every year. And I don't want to put out boring content. I don't want to put out depressing content. And there's been this pressure on me to get that content out, but I've been wanting to avoid it and not wanting to do it. So for my own well-being and my mental health, I've decided to take a break from YouTube. I don't have a set date of when I will be back, if I will be back, what this channel is going to look like. I'm going to be figuring that out along the way. But as of right now, this will be the last What Sold video that I'm putting out, and actually the last video just in general, unless randomly one day I get a mystery boxing and I want to unbox it for you all. While I do appreciate all of you being so supportive, being here, watching my videos. There are a few of you who still comment on every single one of my videos, and I'm so thankful, but I really think I'm doing a disservice to you all by not putting out quality content, and that has always been my goal with YouTube. So for right now, I am going to take a short break from YouTube. I am still going to continue reselling, but it's not going to be in the capacity that I used to do. I'm not going to be breaking my back to get my listings up. I'm going to do it at my leisure when I want to, when I feel motivated, and we'll see how things go. So this is not a goodbye forever. This is just a goodbye for right now. And if I make the decision to not come back, I will let you all know that for sure. So thank you again for understanding and being supportive. And let's get into my sales, because the last 2 weeks of December 2024 was wild in sales, or not wild because there wasn't much going on. Okay, so we're going to start on Poshmark. I had no sales on Mercari, but that is not a surprise to me because Mercari has just been dropping off throughout the year anyway. So again, 2 sales on Poshmark. The last sale that I had on Poshmark was December 14th. I didn't make a single sale until December 31st. So that's almost the 2 full weeks. And how I got those sales was I sent off 45% offers on Poshmark because I was desperate. I actually thought maybe Poshmark was broken. Maybe my Posher VA wasn't sharing. No, it was working. It just people were not buying. So of the two sales I had, the first one was a purse, and this is by the brand Grison, and it was a white and dark brown leather convertible satchel purse. So it actually had little snap sections on the side where you could like pull it up and make it into like a rounded purse, or you can unsnap them and make it into like a rectangle purse. Very good quality, very well made. This came out of a ThredUp purse rescue box, and it sold for $19 with no discounted shipping. And then the second and final sale of 2024 on Poshmark was an Ella Moss Angora knit leopard print zipper front cardigan sweater. I picked this up at my local Salvation Army, and after sending very aggressive offers, someone countered my aggressive offer of 18, and I accepted, and there was no discounted shipping. So of my two Poshmark sales, I made $37 in sales, $7.40 in fees, giving me a profit of $29.60. Moving on to eBay, where thankfully I did have more sales, but I also had a 6-day gap of no sales during Christmas week. It was a weird time. The first sale on eBay was a free to me antique book. This was by Margaret E. Sangster, and it was called My Garden of Hearts. It was printed in 1913, and it was a beautiful green cover. I found this book while cleaning out my mom's estate. It sold for $9.79, and I got such great feedback from the customer. I guess they weren't expecting me to pack it up as well as I did. I bubble wrapped it. I put it in a poly bag to protect it from the elements. I put it in a box. I didn't actually put it in a poly mailer or anything like that because it's antique and it's a precious item. So they were very appreciative that I packaged it so well. Next up is a new without tags woman within fuchsia pink snowflake knit button front cardigan. This was a size 22 to 24. This came out of a, I believe at the time it was Cozy Threads box, which their company is now Helpsy Source. I purchased a box back in 2021, and this sold for $15.17. Next up is another free to me item. A coworker gave me a bag of clothing that she no longer was interested in. This one was a Banana Republic gray and black floral wool Marcy frayed short sleeve blouse. It was a size 16. Marcy was the style name, and it sold for $15, and that was an offer the customer sent to me. Next up is a 1950 Betty Crocker's Picture 3-ring binder cookbook, and I also included a Bisquick party booklet as a lot. This was a complete cookbook. There was actually additional pages taken out of, I think it was Good Housekeeping magazine back in the 1950s and added in. So there was more than just what the original cookbook was. This was a free to me item, and I didn't realize that this picture cookbook was actually republished or redone in the 90s or 2000s, I believe, because I kept pulling up sold comparable listings, but they were all like brand new and sealed, and they had a barcode, and I'm like, this isn't right. So I learned something new while looking for comps. It did make it a little harder to price accordingly, but I based my pricing off of the condition of mine and of course other ones that sold, and this sold for $17.49. Next up is a new black flower beaded long tassel dangle statement earrings with a gift box. This came out of my Via Trading Amazon jewelry lot, and it sold for $9.09. Next up is a free to me item. This came from my mother-in-law. This was a Brighton Sweetie Heart badge clip pendant silver plated necklace with an adjustable chain. When she first gave this to me, it was very tarnished, and I actually thought it was wear because she wore it to her corporate job that held her badge, and I was just not interested in like cleaning it or doing anything with it. But one day I pulled it out of my craft jewelry lot and thought, okay, let me try to clean it up and see if it comes out looking better. And thankfully it did. This sold within a few weeks of me listing it for $20.99. Next up is a Market and Spruce gray space dye dolman sleeve knit sweater. It was a size small. I've had this for 5 years, and it finally sold for $6. And yes, I did lose 25 cents off of it. Next up was a graphic novel. This was a Marvel branded graphic novel. It was The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It was from 2010. I picked this up at a Fill-A-Bag charity yard sale. So my cost of goods was pretty low. I've never picked up a graphic novel before, so this was definitely an experiment. This sold for $11, but it did take over 1 year to sell. Next up is a large teardrop shaped sliced antler dangle pierced earrings. They had silver tone fixings, or the things that go through your ears, and they sold for $10, which was an offer I sent to the customer. When I pulled these out of my last Shop Goodwill jewelry unboxing, I thought that they might be bone, but after researching a little bit more, I realized that they are either deer antler or from an elk or a moose. It's kind of hard to decide based off of just one little slice. So I did put all of that information in the listing, and they sold within a month or two of me listing them. Next up is a colorful artisan glass ceramic beaded black cord adjustable belt. This came out of one of my Shop Goodwill belt unboxings, and it sold for $15. And then the last item to sell was a pair of earrings that I've literally had since almost the beginning of my reselling career in 2019. So very happy to see them go. It was a pair of silver tone, hollow, chunky, lightweight, small hoops. They were marked 925, but they did not test for 925, and they were slightly magnetic. So of course I put that in the listing, and they sold for $5. Happy to see them go. So of my 11 eBay sales, I made $134.53 in sales. I made a shipping profit of $17.88. My fees were $41.24, giving me a profit of $111.17. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $12.23. And now for my total numbers on Poshmark and eBay from December 16th through December 31st of 2024. I made a total of 13 sales. I had $171.53 in sales. Fees were $30.76. Cost of goods was $28.26, giving me a final net profit of $112.51. And my average cost of goods for each item that sold was $2.17. Well, that concludes this What Sold video for the last 2 weeks of December of 2024. Happy New Year. I hope that your 2025 is filled with health, happiness, and prosperity. I will be taking a step back and finding out what brings me joy and what makes me happy these days. And I hope that you are doing well. And thank you again for always watching, always being supportive. It's not goodbye forever. It's just goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next video.